Alright friends, welcome back. Well, I'm sure you were all very aware of the dev challenge that was put out for, them to use very specific builds, do a D10 operation, trying to get full clears if they can, and just trying to survive. And I took a look at that, I decided, let's make it even harder for myself, so that's what I did. I stripped back the gear even more, so we're just using the Liberator, we're using the Peacemaker, and we're using the Frag Grenade going on to D10 missions across the bugs, the bots, and the squids, and then even using, more restrictive of our stratagems, so just the Gatling Sentry, the Eagle Airstrike, the 120, and then the machine gun, just so I could have a little blue stratagem. And it was definitely pretty challenging, friends, I have to say, but it is attainable, it is doable, that's right. So even with basic starter gear, you guys can take on even the hardest difficulties, and I'm here to show you how you do it. So obviously, friends, approaching an objective by yourself in D10 can be a little bit challenging. So as you can see, I throw down my sentry turret, and I throw in my stratagems to make sure that I'm taking out a lot of their spawns as they come. And then I'm doing target prioritization. I'm using my heavy machine gun over there to go and take everything out, or just the basic machine gun, I should say. And then also swapping to my Liberator to go knock down the chef and making sure that, hey, any guy that's making out of the base, that I'm putting them down very quickly so there's not going to be continuous spawns. And then as you can see, taking on a charger with this build could be a little bit more challenging, but I'm making sure I'm using the Eagle call-ins to line it up and take him out for me so that I don't have to waste every single grenade or all my bullets on his back end. But if a charger does come at you, just use the machine gun, focus on the back end, you'll do a lot of damage. Unfortunately for me, I got hit by some acid over here, so I lost a life, but hey, it's what happens. But also, friends, you might be saying, well, what about the Bile Titans? Because those are going to be obviously harder to deal with. Well, luckily for me, I was playing on Omicron, and I know that the Hive Lords do spawn, and I got lucky over here, I have to say that, right? But I used it to my benefit. I saw where the Hive Lord was coming out of the ground, and I lured the Bile Titans towards me, and I let the Hive Lord, do some work for me. He throws up trying to hit me, but he takes out all of his Bile Titans, and then anything left over, I'm just going to throw stratagems out to go clear them out. So what about caves? Obviously, when you're going in there, you just have whatever gear you have on hand, and that could be, a bit more challenging. But, friends, do not forget that you have a ton of grenades. So I go into the caves, I see a spawn bomb coming. You know what? I'm just going to lob a bunch of grenades as they're spawning through, and you have to remember, this is more about guerrilla tactics with this type of armor because you're using the B1 Tactical, and then for your weapons, you're not going to just sit there firing all day. You will probably get overwhelmed. So I'm throwing out grenades, I'm shooting my gun, and I am GTFO because I want to keep living. And as you can see, we mopped up and we got a quick 5 stars on this one, and now we're moving on to the bots. So I decided to start off stealthily because I want to get in there and surprise the Devastator because I'll do a lot of headshot damage. And then moving over to the Chainsaw guy, taking him out, and even the Missile Devastator, I can quickly dispatch him if I'm going to be accurate. And then when we get over to the patrols, I'm throwing grenades at the patrols and I'm mopping anything up with our Liberator because, again, it will do good damage. But our machine gun is going to be the star of the show, obviously, so when I'm getting zerged by a lot of men, I'm whipping this thing out and I'm going to go mow through any of the chaff running towards me, any of the Devastators running towards me. It does a very good job about cleaning them up. And then as you can see, movement is your friend. There's going to be a lot of men coming at you. You're not going to have enough bullets, so dive, dodge, run, whatever you can. Just get through them. Focus on the objective. Go take that out because, blowing up the objectives is going to lower the spawn rate of the enemies, making your life a little bit easier. And then, of course, for patrols, a well-placed stratagem is going to be your best friend. So I'm going to throw out this Eagle Strike, I line them up, and it gets quickly taken out. The hard bit is going to be fighting the Factory Striders 100%, but work as a team, work around it, do damage from all sides, throw out your stratagems, get underneath its belly as it's spawning in men, and just try to get grenades up there or whatever type of explosive value that you can to go destroy it. Or, when friends have anti-tank, and I did have a random that joined me that finished off with anti-tank, that definitely helps too. And then exfil wasn't as bad because we took out the factory, took out a lot of bases around, but they still sent men after us. But we laid down the fire together. You can see we're working as a team, laying down with our machine guns, firing forward, using our stratagems to lock down the enemies. And again, we were able to clear this one out. We did get a decent amount of deaths on this one, but we were still able to 5-star it. Now on to the squids. This one was a lot more challenging at first because I was only doing it with 2 players, and then I had a guy drop out, and then one more guy that was, very good ended up joining me, which was definitely great, but I will preface and say that this one was harder and more challenging just for that fact, but we got a lot more kills. So once again, I had to go for guerrilla tactics, not only because there's a lot of men around, but because I'm just, I'm manned down a bit. I only have 2 people in my squad, so I'm using my good old Peacemaker, I'm using my Liberator, I'm using my machine gun as much as I can to kind of clear these guys out. And of course, accuracy is going to benefit you as much as possible, so aim for those heads, or even aim for those legs to make sure that they cannot chase after you. So much like any other faction, when you're defending an objective, you're going to have to go for any of the guys that can call on enemy units. But once they do and those harvesters start to come in, those are going to be a challenge just like how the Bile Titans were. But pop the shields, focus fire with your machine gun at their faceplate to try to crack it, or just throw in, your stratagems to go do the destructive power that you need to get these guys killed. And then something that was hard but not so, unmanageable was dealing with the Leviathans because I didn't have anything to fight back. So I basically had to watch the sky and dodge the lasers. And as you can see, I'm dipping and diving for cover so I don't get my head blown off. So in this next bit, I'm putting together all the things I've been talking about. So I'm using movement, I'm using accuracy, I'm having those flesh mobs come at me. But again, our guns do a decent amount of damage. Aim for the heads on their bodies to do more damage to them. And make sure that you're dodging those attacks. Don't just take damage and sit there. Actively stim before taking damage so that you can kind of run through. If you're running out of stamina, keep stimming because you do not want to run out of stamina and get caught out. So I'm making sure I'm clearing the men, I'm destroying the bases around me, and I'm doing whatever I have to survive. But sometimes between the stingrays and the hordes, it can be a little unmanageable. So make sure that you are guiding them towards you, and if you have an open view, throw down the Gatling sentry, and make sure that you are supporting it as it mops up all the enemies so that you do not have a lot of guys continuing the fight against you. So for this one, exfil was a bit of a nightmare. We only had 2 of us. I'm doing whatever I can. My partner was dead. We were out of lives. I'm just trying to, again, move around the point, make sure that I'm having some protection, take out as many men with me. Unfortunately, I do get got, and my guy dies. And then shortly after, when my friend spawns back in, he also dies. So we were successful in this one, but we did not get the 5 stars that I was going for. So, hey, at the end of the day, we were still successful, but the vote list definitely, kind of kicked our asses a little bit from time to time with overwhelming numbers. All right, friends, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you got to go see how I would tackle these D10 missions with very basic gear, very basic armor, and still be successful, friends. And you could definitely do it too. It just takes some practice, takes some patience, and some good teamwork. If you're going it solo, it's going to be harder, but again, still manageable. Well, friends, I hope I see you in the next one, and take care.